permeability means, okay, the volume of voids are relatively less. Okay, if the volume of voids is more, it means that it is more permeable. Okay, if more permeable, what means the gaps are more, therefore the seepage. Okay, so to avoid that one, to decrease that one, so we use the material which has a low permeability, right? And that you should maintain throughout the section. Okay? Either by compacting, or even natural permeability of the material should be, as far as concern, it should be low. Okay, and your borrow pits should be as close to the dam site as possible. Okay, borrow pits means from where you are taking the material. So if your borrow pit is, I mean, nearer to the site where you are constructing a dam, so then the transport cost is, you can minimize the transport cost. Otherwise, if the borrow pit is far away from the dam site, then a lot of money has to be spent on the carrying of material from that borrow pit to the dam site. So as far as possible, locate and identify the borrow pit nearer to the site. Okay. So this is the one point we should keep in mind. Point is the sufficient spillway and outlet capacity should be provided. Okay. In last class, we have discussed if the insufficient to carry water from upstream to the downstream side, what will happen? The overtopping will take place. So therefore, to avoid such failure of overtopping, so you capacity of the spillway is insufficient in order to carry the flood water from stream to the downstream side. Okay. This the wind action or wave action, water may try to escape from the top of the dam. Okay, if your freeboard is relatively less, so therefore always you have to maintain a sufficient freeboard. Okay, to avoid this type of situation. And the fourth one, the seepage line, that is called the phreatic line. Okay, the seepage line should remain well within the downstream face of the dam, so that no slugging of the face occurs. As I said, if the phreatic line or seepage line cuts the downstream face of the dam, what will happen? The portion between the bottom and the seepage line where it cuts the downstream face will always will be in a saturated situation, and there is a possibility of failure of that phase. Okay, so the always the seepage line or phreatic line well within the limit. Okay, so by providing a various types of filters, it may be a horizontal filter or vertical filter or chimney filter or toe filter. Okay, by providing these type of filters, you can keep the seepage line or phreatic line well within the limit. Okay, so it in no way it should cut the downstream face of the dam. And the fifth point is there should be no possibility of flow of water from upstream to the downstream phase, right? But this you cannot avoid completely, but you can minimize the flow, right? Uh, or you have to see that there should not be any concentrated flow. Okay, what is mean concentrated flow? See, the entire dam is there, but the flow taking place in a one particular point. Okay, that is the case. What will happen? That concentrated flow will enlarge the gap. Okay, over the time, and the piping may takes place. Okay, so because this is an earthen dam, so you cannot avoid completely the seepage taking place from upstream to the downstream side. Okay, But uniform seepage, the seepage may occur throughout the body throughout the entire body. So in that case, it is okay. But if instead of that one, if all seepage is taking place through a single point, that is called concentrated flow. So that is a danger to the structure. So that leads to the piping. Okay, once the piping occurred through the body, the entire dam may collapse. Similarly, uh, the piping occurred through the foundation of the dam also, that entire dam will be collapsed because of the piping. Okay, so to let us, you have to maintain, always ensure that uh, seepage, it should be a minimum, and it should be a uniform seepage and not a concentrated seepage. Okay, the sixth point is upstream phase should be properly protected against wave action. Okay, as I said, see, because if you do not care of the upstream phase, what will happen? Due to the wave action, you will try to erode the material on the upstream side. Okay, and if you do not taken care of those, there is if you're not taken care of the maintenance, so that will progress. Okay, and one time entire dam has some danger because of these type of phenomena. Okay, therefore what we have to do is we have to uh, protect the upstream phase by some impervious material. Okay, it may be a stone pitching, or it may be a concrete, something like that we have to do. Okay, to protect the upstream phase. And similarly for downstream phase against the rain, as a last class also I have discussed how the rain will damage the downstream phase. Okay, the rain particles falls from the top of the atmosphere, has a high potential energy. Okay, and that potential energy will dislodge the particles on the downstream phase. Okay, and thus dislodging generally usually occur every monsoon season. After monsoon completes, and you have to fill those gaps. Okay, if you do not do that, the size of the hole will be enlarged next season, and that leads to the failure of the structure. Okay, and provision of horizontal berms at suitable intervals in the downstream phase may be provided so as to reduce the erosion to due to flow of rainwater. So this I have also told yesterday, that berms on the downstream side will be provided to avoid this gully erosion on the downstream side. Okay, so what is the berm is, say for example, if water particle falls on the top of the dam on the downstream face. Okay, so let us the face, downstream face has, say for example, 25 meters. Okay, if it falls on the top, so it travels 25 meters to reach the downstream, the bottom of the dam. Okay, so by rolling down, it attains some kinetic energy. Okay, and velocity also will be more. So therefore, if the velocity is more, kinetic energy will be more, then it brings a lot of soil particle along with that water. Okay, so therefore, to avoid that one, we will not allow water to move from the top to the bottom. Okay, so therefore maybe a 2 3 berms will be provided on the downstream side. Okay, and the water collected at the at the berm, and that will be discharged at safer location. Okay, that is one point. And another point is the downstream slope should be so designed that it is safe during steady seepage case under full reservoir condition. Okay, if the reservoir is full, the danger to the downstream slope. Okay, if the reservoir is full, it means the seepage will be more. Okay, so therefore it causes danger to the downstream phase. Okay, so therefore you have to design the phase downstream slope in such a way that even though the reservoir is full, there should not be any danger to the structure. Okay, similarly, upstream phase slope should be stable during rapid drawdown conditions, right? So in last class also I discussed how the uh, a failure may occur if there is a sudden drawdown. If the reservoir is full at maximum reservoir level, so what will happen? The entire voids on the upstream side will fill with water. When suddenly the water falls down, okay, and then what will happen? The water stored in the gaps, that is voids, will come out, okay. So during that stage, there is a chance of collapse of the upstream phase, okay. So these are the two conditions when the downstream slope, falls, collapse when the reservoir is full. When the upstream side will collapse when there is a sudden drawdown. Okay, in both the cases, there should not be any problem to the upstream side slope and also downstream side slope. So you have to design in such a way by keeping all those things in mind. Okay, so these are the criteria must be satisfied in order to obtain safe design and construction of an earth dam. Okay, so these are the checklist, right? So before starting the design or while the kind of work is in progress, these points should be, you have to ensure. Okay, so all these criteria are met or not. Okay, so this is the about the, some point you should keep in mind while designing or work is in progress. Okay. Next is, it is a very important topic. There is the seepage analysis. Seepage analysis, as I said, the seepage is inevitable. Okay, you cannot completely avoid it. It is inevitable. So the flow takes place from upstream to the downstream phase. Okay, but if the seepage is relatively less and it is uniform, and then there is no dangers to the structure, right? So therefore, what is the takeaway from this topic is, you have to calculate how much seepage, a quantity of seepage taking place from upstream to the downstream through the body. Okay, so that you have to quantify that seepage. Okay, for that analysis, for that quantification, so this analysis is required, and also the pressure is also you have to quantify. Okay, so in order to quantify the seepage and quantify the pressure, so the seepage analysis is very much required. Okay, just I will read it and you can also see. Seepage occurs through the body of all earth dams and also through the pervious foundations, both as well as from through the body and as well as from through the foundation also. The quantity of water passing through the body and the foundation of the earthen dam, as well as the distribution of the water pressure, can be estimated using a theory called flow of fluids through the porous medium. Okay. While computing these quantities, some assumption must be kept in mind. Okay, so this is the natural phenomena, right? You cannot like that. There are, say for example, if you see a Newton law, okay, so there is for every action there is a reaction, that is 100% correct. Okay, and there is no assumption in that one for evolving this theory, but this is the natural phenomena. It is a very complex. Very complex means the seepage, we assume the seepage is a one-dimensional flow. Actually, it is not a one-dimensional flow, it is a three-dimensional flow. The seepage moves in any direction. Okay, and say another one is that the voids, we assume that it is a size of the void is a, it's not varying, but actually it varies. Okay, because of various reason, the gaps, the voids may varies. Okay, and the flow is we assume that it is a non-compressible. Okay, but actually it is not the case. Okay, so therefore to quantify the seepage through this body, okay, under these circumstances, everything is so complex, okay. The property changes with respect to direction, and the property changes with respect to the time also, okay. So therefore it is very difficult to analyze such type of problems, especially when we dealing with the nature, okay, especially in water resource engineering. So therefore always we assume some assumptions, okay. And assumptions mean what? Simplify the problem. We simplify the problem, okay. The flow takes place in all direction. So if it is in all direction, it is difficult to quantify the seepage. So therefore we assume that the majority of the flow takes place in one dimensional. So therefore we assume the flow takes place only one dimensional, horizontally, and then we quantify. If it is a all dimensions, three dimensional, it's very difficult to quantify. But actually it is a three dimensional, but majority flow takes place horizontal. So therefore we assume that entire flow is in one direction only. Based on assumption, we have certain type of equations, and we'll solve those equations to quantify the seepage, okay. Something is better than nothing, okay. By assuming some assumptions, so the accuracy may be 80% and 85%. It not be 100%. We cannot estimate exactly the quantity of seepage, but to some extent, to reasonable accuracy, we can estimate. Otherwise, we cannot do. If you want to calculate 100%, we will calculate seepage taking place through the horizontal, taking place through the vertical direction, and lateral direction. That is not possible, impossible, okay. So therefore there are some assumptions for any analysis when you are dealing with the nature, okay. The first assumption here is that rolled embankment and natural soil foundation of the dam are incompressible porous media, okay. What does it mean? That the size of the pore space do not change with the time, okay, regardless of the water pressure, okay. That is the first assumption. As I said, the size of the pore is remains unchanged. It doesn't, but actually it changes, okay. So because there may be a lot of pressure is there on top, because there may be a settlement is there. So because of that one, the pore size maybe changes, okay. But we assume that it remains unchanged. There is no change in the pore space, okay. So that is the first assumption. And the second assumption is that Darcy's law for flow through the porous medium is valid, right? The seepage moving from upstream to the downstream side, it based on the Darcy's law. That is the second assumption. Okay, you know what is Darcy's law? The Darcy's law, the quantity of flow taking place through any porous media is proportional to the size of the diameter of the gap, and proportional to the pressure, and inversely proportional to the length, okay. So that is a Q is equal to KIA, okay. You must have heard that equation. That is a Darcy's law, okay. So that second assumption is that Darcy's law is valid for flow through the porous media, right? The third assumption is that there is no change in the degree of saturation. There is no change in the degree of saturation. What is meaning of that degree of saturation is that I will read it. In the zone of soil through which the water seeps, and the quantity of flow into any element of volume is equal to the quantity which flows out in the same length of the time, okay. It means that there is no change in the degree of saturation. It means that if you take any volume, let us say 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, okay, the amount of water entering into that element is equal to the amount of water leaving from that element, okay. So that's the meaning, that there is no change in the degree of saturation, right. The amount of water or seepage entering into that control volume is equal to the amount of water leaving from that control volume. If the both are not same, what does that mean? Some amount is retaining in the control volume, right? If it is some amount is retaining in the control volume, what does that mean? the degree of saturation is various. So earlier it is a 10%, now it is a 20%, again 30, like that. Okay, but it is not the case. Okay, the degree of saturation is no change in the degree of saturation. All right, that is the third point. The fourth point, the hydraulic boundary condition at the entry and the exit are known. Okay, what does it mean that the hydraulic boundary conditions means, suppose while you are analyzing, you should know the boundary conditions. Okay, you should know the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions means that, say, we have the structures. I mean, that dam is a trapezoidal section. The boundary conditions is that what is the water level on the upstream side, what is the water level on the downstream side. Okay, that is the boundary conditions. Got my point? Okay, if that you know, then you can easily solve the problem. If you do not know those values, boundary conditions, then we cannot solve the problem, right? So that boundary condition at the entry and the exit are known. Okay, and water is incompressible, water is not compressible. So these are the 5 assumptions. The first one is the size of the pore space do not change with time, and Darcy's law is valid, and the degree of saturation, there is no change in the degree of saturation. And fourth is hydraulic boundary conditions at the entry and the exit are known. The last one is water is incompressible. Okay, so these are the 5 assumptions for this theory of flow fluids through porous media. Right now, let us see. Let us see how do we calculate the seepage from upstream to the downstream, either through the body or through the foundation. Okay, let us consider a small element now. Right, that size of the element is delta x in x direction and delta y is in y direction, and perpendicular, you can say it is a unit, one unit. Okay, so therefore the volume of that element is equal to what? Delta x into delta y into 1. So 1 unit is just perpendicular to your screen. Okay, delta x is the size of the element in x direction, delta y is the size of the element in y direction, right? And you are perpendicular to the screen, that is 1 unit. So therefore the volume of this control element is delta x into delta y into 1, right? Now Vx is the velocity of the seepage component in x direction. Okay, delta Vy is the velocity of seepage in y direction. Okay, so this is the entry component. Okay, Vx and Vy are the entry component. Then the exit component is Vx dou Vx by dou x into delta x. That is the exit component. Okay, the velocity of seepage in entry component is the Vx, and the velocity of the seepage at the exit is Vx plus dou Vx by dou x into delta x. And similarly in y direction, entry is Vy, and at the exit it is Vy plus dou Vy by dou y into delta y. Okay, and so we have the assumptions. According to assumption 3, what is the assumption 3 is the quantity of water or quantity of seepage entering into the element is equal to the quantity of water leaving it. Hence, we get what is the quantity of water entering into the element is Vx. We know what is the Q is equal to Va, isn't it? Q is equal to V velocity into cross-sectional area. So in x direction, what is the seepage entering into the in this direction is equal to velocity Vx cross-section area of this element is what? Delta y into 1 unit perpendicular to your screen. So therefore, Vx into delta y into 1. Okay. Right. This is Vx into delta y into 1. Delta y into 1 is what? It is the cross-sectional area in x direction. Okay. So the cross-sectional area into velocity Va is equal to Q. Right. Similarly, in y direction, it is equal to delta x into 1 into Vy. So these equal to 0. This equation, we know dvx by dx plus dy by I is equal to 0. It's a two-dimensional continuity equation. So according to assumption 2, what is assumption 2? Assumptions 2 is Darcy's law is valid. Is equal to what? Q is equal to KIA or V is equal to KI. Velocity is equal to coefficient of permeability and I is equal to what? I is equal to head, I mean head causing flow, right? I is equal to head causing flow, right? So therefore what? Kx, but I is equal to dH by dx. Okay, that is, you can say, gradient, hydraulic gradient, right? H is equal to hydraulic head under which water flows, right? And say Vy is equal to Ky, I mean velocity coefficient of permeability in y direction. I is equal to hydraulic head in y direction. So that is equal to dH by dy, right? Now substitute Vx V by instead of Vx Vy, and these two values Kx dou h by dou x plus Ky dou h by dou y, then you will get this equation, right? This equation, right? And for isotropic soil, Kx is equal to Ky is equal to K. What is isotropic soil? The property are same in any direction. Okay, so that is an isotropic soil. So for example, if you take the soil characteristics of the coefficient of permeability remains same in x direction as well as y direction. Okay, but in an ideal case, it need not be the same, but we are assuming that isotropic soil kx is equal to ky. So therefore, instead of kx, we can write k. Instead of ky, we can write k. So therefore, k get cancelled, and it gets simplified as dou square h by dou x square plus dou square y by dou y square. Okay, so we know what is pi is the potential, velocity potential. Q is equal to kh is that velocity potential. So therefore, this can also be written in terms of velocity potential, like dou square pi by dou x square plus dou square pi by dou y square. So this is final equation that is called a Laplace equation. Okay, and this is the Laplace equation of flow in the velocity potential may be determined as a scalar function of space and time, such that its derivative with respect to any directions give the fluid velocity in that direction, right? So this is the Laplace equation. If you can solve this equation, okay, then you can, I mean, solving that equation is nothing but quantifying the seepage through the body of the dam. Okay, how to solve this equation? Okay, so that is another topic, right? Uh, so this is the this theory, I mean flow fluid through the porous media, seepage analysis. Okay, uh, any question up to this point? falls on the top, rain falls on the top, okay, the rain particle falls on this top, okay, it will roll down, roll down, roll down. So therefore it attain lot of velocity and also as well as kinetic energy. Okay, velocity, if it is velocity is increasing means once it attaining kinetic energy. If that has a lot of kinetic energy, so therefore along with this water, it also try to carry the soil in the slope. Okay, got my point? Okay, so therefore erosion takes place here. Okay, so instead of allowing water from this point to this point, so in this case what will happen, the water falls on this point, will not go down here, so it will be collected here itself. Okay, it will be collected here itself. There is a small it will be like that, there will be a small a channel like this, something like that. Okay, చిన్న కాలువలాగా ఉంటుంది ఇక్కడ. Okay, and see here also something. So the water falls between this face to this face will be collected here. It will not allow move down. Okay, similarly water collected from this face and this face will be collected here. Okay, so therefore what by providing berm, what we did, we decrease the kinetic energy of the water particle. Okay, and we can decrease the velocity of the water particle. Okay, so therefore it minimize the loss. Erosion can be minimized by doing like this, cutting the travel distance of the water particle, right? Got my point? Hello?